Now, the DUP's party officers have been meeting to discuss a possible return to Stormont, but so far without a result. The meeting comes a day after yesterday's huge public sector strike. I'm joined now by our political editor, Enda McClafferty. Enda, was it ever really the crunch meeting that it was billed to be?
Well, the short answer is we don't know for sure, Tara, because that was the sense we got this morning from a senior source within the DUP who told us this was the nay or yay moment, the moment of decision making for the party whenever the 12 officers were going to pass their verdicts on the proposed deal on the table, negotiated of course by the DUP party leadership. But I think it became pretty clear as the day wore on that there wasn't going to be a decision today, and as it turned out there wasn't a vote, nor was there a decision taken, so nothing really has changed this evening, albeit we do know that the party leader Sir Geoffrey Donaldson took more time today to go through the deal with those party officers.
If there is a decision taken by the party officers, what should we look out for?
Well, we understand Sir Geoffrey Donaldson has a majority of officers in his corner, so to speak, so that when he does present this deal at whatever stage in the future, that he will have a majority support on the officer team. But I think key for Sir Geoffrey Donaldson is going to be the margin of support that he has, because obviously he wants to be in a position, Tara, whereby when he goes to sell whatever deal is there, that he has everybody lined up behind him, and he can't really afford some big hitters within the party out there pulling in a very much a different direction. So that of course is going to be key for Geoffrey Donaldson as we go forward. And it was interesting to hear today as well, Tara, from those out there who believed that this was the crunch moment. We know that the British government was of that mind, so too the Irish government in Dublin. That was their thinking, that they were going to find out today whether or not the DUP was up for this deal, whether or not the DUP was up for a return to power sharing. Have a listen to what the Taoiseach Leo Varadkar had to say earlier today.
I'm hoping it's a positive sign. Would be very keen to see the Assembly and Executive operating again, and certainly our role as the Irish Government will be to do everything we can to make sure that it's sustainable, that it's successful. Some very serious issues that have to be dealt with in Northern Ireland, from public sector pay to the health service to other important issues, and if it is the case that the Executive Assembly can be re-established, we want to make sure that it's sustainable and successful, and we're willing to work with the British Government and all the major parties in the North on exactly that.
And we had that same sentiment today from our former head of the civil service in Northern Ireland, who felt that now was the moment, now was the key time to do it if a deal was there to be done.
And I'm hesitant about getting involved in politics, but I know there's a sort of cliched view that every time things collapse and unionists come back to the table eventually, they come back at a time whenever their position is slightly worse than it was before. So I think this is a pivotal moment. And I do hope they take the decision to go back in. So
all eyes now will be on what happens next in terms of this officer board meeting, because we know at some stage the party is going to have to decide whether or not it's up for return to power sharing, and whether or not that deal on the table is going to be sufficient to make them make that move.
And at Stormont, thank you. 3 people